Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Coaching Client Spotlight episode number 3. I am joined with today's guest, Lauren. If you're new here to these episodes, this is just all about get asking people who've experienced the spiritual gifts integration coaching with me just what their experiences were like, what they've learned, and also like where are they now? What are they doing? It's really cool for me also as a coach to hear like everyone's unique stories and what insights they took away from the container. So without further ado, Lauren, if you want to just say hi and like share a little bit about yourself.
Happy winter solstice, first and foremost. Hi all. My name is Lauren May Sugai, pronoun she, they, sha. I grew up South Bay, South LA. Both of my parents are Filipino. My dad is from Nueva Ecija. My mom is from I forgot, but she's from Pampanga, from Bacolor. And they immigrated in the 80s. And I just kind of grew up there. And then after graduating community college, I like traveled like the US, um, for school, work, and life. And now I'm back. And I started doing coaching with you because, yeah, I'm just like back home and I was like ready to do things and ready to like start like my life that I wanted here. So, um, I have a lot of background in ecology and all these things and sustainability. Um, but yeah, I went through a major career life shift.
Did.
We'll talk more about that because there's so many layers, I feel like to me. So
There are many layers. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'm excited to get into this. I feel like you are very multi-passionate. Like there's different parts of you that I'm sure we'll get to see in today's call. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first question I wanted to ask you was like, how were you feeling before coaching and like what kind of led up to looking for a coach or finding me? Also, where did you find me? Yeah.
yeah, so I found you on Therapini or Therapinixi, on that website because I was feeling kind of down and I was already I got here to LA in Chinatown, and I think I was in my like first like 6 months of living here. Like I just moved into a new apartment. I stayed at my cousin's house for a bit, and I was kind of just feeling down, and I was like, okay, I'm ready. I always knew I wanted to be on this journey. I always knew I wanted to find somebody to guide me through like the spiritual parts of like our culture and like my identity. I done therapy for a long time, but I knew I needed to find somebody who helped practice the things I learned in therapy. So I was like, okay, I think I need a coach. So I was going through different folks, and then I found you, found your website. I was very interested in the like just like intuition, and I knew that you have a background in working with like women or people with like, womb healing and stuff, even though we didn't do that personally. We still touched upon like trauma, like that I experienced, that like, like just talking about that. Like I was sexually assaulted when I was young, and that was kind of for a while, and I was still healing through that. So I was like, maybe this would be a good fit. And I'm just so like amazed about how many layers we touched on, like from personal life to professional life. That's a lot. And like the spiritual life, and like as you said, like integrating it all. And that was my goal. And I feel like as you said, shared that the people who were meant to find you were meant to find you the times that we were supposed to find you, and I felt ready to like, I was like, I need to integrate this shit right now. So at Undas, last year, I was like, I need to find somebody to help me with this. And I think a few months later, weeks later, I found you.
Wow. And for anyone who's watching this who's unfamiliar with undas or isn't Filipino, like Undas is basically our Day of the Dead, like Dia de los Muertos, or All Souls Day is another way that we call it. Um, and so yeah, that's like, the veil is thin, it's around Halloween, and so like it's a really potent time to actually connect with your ancestors, your spirit guides. So it was really cool to hear Lauren share that like last year, like they set this intention, and then a year later, we'll probably get into this, but like we finally met in person during Undas this year. After like we've done coaching for the last several months, but it was really cool to forge that in-person connection and like it was vibes. So it's cool to hear when people find me through Therapy because I think a lot of people find me through Instagram first, but the people who find me through Therapy, like, yeah, they usually have some sort of experiences with like therapy in the past. And Therapy, the website, it's not just therapists, even though the name sounds like it. It's like healing practitioners. So sometimes there's Reiki practitioners on there, massage therapists, and it's just like a network to help connect Filipinos all over the diaspora. And I believe they're extending it to other like Asian American, Pacific Islander like people too. But yeah, it's a great way to just connect people.
Yeah, and I think like just you like the way that you care so much about your work and like how you are very attentive to how it looks and how it like delivers to people. I think that also speaks to you and like how really cool you are as well.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. And you kind of answered my second question already in a way, but I want to see if you have anything else to add. My second question was like, what were your initial intentions for coaching? And you sort of mentioned like, you wanted to develop more of your spirituality, you wanted more accountability when it came to like maybe things that you learned through therapy and then the womb healing. Yeah, was there anything else you wanted to add to that?
I was also healing through like relationship stuff, like as I said, personal things. Like I wanted to learn how to be open, or I wanted to learn how to like just receive. Like I think so I'm also I identify as queer, non-binary, like femme, but not femme. I don't know, gender fluid woman person. And also a simp. I think that's very important. Person who like I'm really good at my friendships, but romantic relationships I'm just like sometimes I'm too depressed over or too sad about. So like how do I like, integrate all that? And I think we had a lot of like good sessions about like how like because you guided through my it's all at the end of the day my experience and like how do I feel about that, how do I observe that, and how do I like call in the support that I need, which was very helpful to learn through this container. And like and it's not just love in a singular romantic way but always reminding me that there's like love and like sense of like ancestors, spirit guides, and like the universe itself. Like I think that was another cool lesson that I learned through this container, because I don't think it's just the conversations, it's also like the experience and like what do I reflect upon like in and out of session.
It's interesting because, like I said, every person who comes into the coaching, they have their own reasons, and there's a sort of trust that we have to have, both of us, the coach and the person being coached, in the way that, the universe supports the container and our spirit guides, and it's not just like us two, it's very deep work. So like the fact that, we can make space, make room for like talking about romantic relationships and then going into like, experiences with SA and experiences with like spirituality, your personal life, your professional life, like I feel like it's very like it just tackles a lot without us really intending for it. Like, because you just show up as you are, with all of your experiences, all the things that you go through. And I feel like the timing is very divine. Like, certain things will come up at certain points of the coaching of like, okay, now this is what's present. And then maybe 3 months from now, like that takes like a back seat and then something else kind of comes to the front. And it's just very like alive. Like whatever is coming up in someone's like psyche and in their experience, also like in real life too, it's like, okay, this happened to me this week. It's like very internal and very external. So there's like a lot of moving parts. It's like coming back into wholeness. It's like, how do we bring all these parts back to ourselves and like, yeah, like move as like this one beautiful being, like this one complete whole sense of self.
Like in the middle of it, like what you were sharing resonated with me, and like the words like tools came to mind of how like even though these are all so many like layered experiences, like you were able to like teach me new tools or new like practices to incorporate that's like kind of universal to any situation or area of my life. So it's like and we also like practiced it in our sessions too, so that like okay, you're like the homework was very helpful.
Yeah. Yay.
The check-ins were very helpful because it was like the accountability that I wanted. They're like, "Oh, did you do your homework this week?" I'm like, I appreciate that. Like, it's all intuitive and like, you still give grace, and it's like the container was, the timing that I needed because I was ready to like I told like myself I was gonna be in this container, and I think the fact that I'm like actually paying for it was like also was like I'm paying for this like for this
Yeah.
experience. I need to make sure I put my homework to where my mouth is because I know it's not going to be forever.
It's funny because the first two like spotlight episodes, they both said the same thing, like, you guys, the homework is so helpful. And I was just laughing because I'm like, yeah, like I feel like because yeah, we only have, an hour a week, and then the rest of the time is like, okay, like this is your integration time. Like, like what you put into this container is what you leave with. That's why you're doing this. You're doing it for yourself, and you're doing it for so that you're not repeating like maybe certain things that have happened in the past. Like we're bringing that self-awareness into like practical applications. And just showing that spirituality can be practical. Like it can be a part of your life and not just something that you do like when you have like hours on end and you can really, that part is great too, like the altar work, like those things, but it's like, how do we bring it into like our everyday
Yeah.
lives?
Yeah, and that was something I also was coming in like as like a question or something I wanted because I was like and it also like going through this also demystified some things that I was just like learning on my own or through my kapwa that I like developed up in NorCal with some of my elders that I was like, okay, like because they're like 40, 50 years old or so. But so they like learned a lot of things and they're teaching me things and I'm like, okay, this is something I'm bringing in, and then I do my own research, but now going into this coaching, I was like, okay, oh yes, that affirms what I thought before, and that like new things layered up on that. And then like, just like the living intentionally every day. So I was like, can you turn it on and off? I was like, I think that was like one of the things I was like, well, how do you even live with this? And so I think that really like going through the experience really helped me to be like, okay, ask those questions too, and feel more confident in what I know and what I practice.
I feel like the special thing about one-on-one versus like a group container or like even like group events is like you really get to know someone over like 6 months, and you get to know new parts of yourself because it's the same person like walking that journey with you and
Yeah.
getting to like ask you like so many different questions, like different angles and like different, like it just kind of grows as we grow. So yeah, it's just
Yeah.
interesting how it like unfolded.
Yeah, and I think it's helpful too because I'm usually the friend for my friends that I'm like the friendipist. Or the one who's like kind of doing that for others. So it's I never have really met somebody before you who could like actually do that for me. And so like I'm grateful to have found you. Like to and like this container to just be like, okay, like the person that I'm like supporting for others, like somebody supporting me now, and like we could be more consistent in working on what I'm working on, which is cool.
Throughout this coaching container, like, what were the moments that stood out to you? Like, were there any specific times that surprised you or like made an impression on you?
I would say it's the moments in and out of like in and out of the sessions while still being in this like container. Because I consider things in our sessions and outside of our things part of the container. Um, I would say the like well, the little things first is like how, like, even like yesterday, the other day, I was able to implement something that we were practicing. Like the like I was with my family, and sometimes, that can be a lot, but not a lot all the time, and there was some sort of energy coming my way, and I just recently, shaved my head, and I was like, I'm not, it's my decision. It's what I wanted. I know that I might get slack for it, but um, and there's so certain energies coming away. So I was like, okay, maybe I need to put on like my like a light, like a glowy protective, like like I
Yeah.
always think of it as like my rocket ship going in to protect myself. Um, and just like, how do I like use that in the daily sense is something that stood out to me. Another one was when we were kind of looking back into like my experience when I was younger. And like and really just going through that meditation. I forgot like specifically, even though we recorded it, like what you said or I said, but eventually it became into this like I was like observing, and then it came into this like powerful moment that I was protecting myself. Like I was protecting the little Lauren that couldn't protect herself. Like your background, like the big trees. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm a motherfucking tree. You can't hurt me. Moments like that like really help push me towards my growth, like just to imagining, like, because it's an embodied feeling, it's an embodied experience, which is something I was also looking for, is something more somatic. And I think this experience helped me to be more somatic and be more in my body, to like integrate that that spiritual aspect of my life, and our practice, my practice, and like how to really use that to like observe my feelings, especially like in the other moment where I was talking about my career shift.
Mm-hmm.
I was leaving, like financial security to then become a student again, and then also like kind of like not have something like ready right away, especially when like, we were entering a government shutdown.
Yeah.
And a lot of like, know, you can't, like, instability and feelings of instability and just like sadness, and it's like I can't go out hang out with friends because I can't afford it and all these things. But we you guided me through a meditation that, like, were like more observing, but like also like, learning how to be more grounded in a moment than letting my emotions just go super wild, and like, we're not super wild, but like, unattended to, I think. And so it was from then, whenever I felt that way, I call back to those moments, to those meditations that we've done, so I could be, oh, like, okay, I could do it. I've been there. I know this feeling. I know how I could like manage it better, so I could keep going, keep growing. And then like the last one I was share is like the just being intuitive with the world around me, and like ancestors and spirit guides, and also being attentive to like when I'm with others who are also very spiritual. Like I was on that moment where I was on the beach with my friend, and I was like, there's hella ancestors around here. I think it's yours. Some of mine around here, but it was they were really, it was a really beautiful day, and it was like just being more intuitive with myself and with others, to be like, hey, like to check in, or just like it just heightens the experience that it's just not us two alone. It's just there's more people here like supporting us. And through this container, knowing how to tap into that, and like just like learning how to, or not learning, I always say remembering how to feel that, and like just saying hello to it, and like welcoming it back into my life. Like we also talk about Catholicism and all of these things, and my own individual journey with spirituality from being Catholic to now here. it really healed that side of me and really is like welcoming back that energy in a more healed way.
I feel like I want to tackle a little bit of each one. Well, the first one being like, somatics and how I feel like it's so it's such a game changer in our healing when we're connected to our bodies and we're not dissociating and we're listening to like the emotions that come and building tools to like show your nervous system you can access healing in those areas because I think and I know this for myself as well, like working with a trauma healing therapist. There's been a lot of growth for me personally when it comes to like somatic healing, and that's why I think it became a big focus for me in coaching is like, okay, like what are these things that are coming up for us? Is it anxiety? Is it fear of the future? Like, well, I guess that's similar to anxiety, but it's like what are these things coming up? And like instead of bypassing it or like trying to move forward because, this is a coaching container about spiritual gifts. It's like it's all connected. So we have to address these things in order to like unlock those deeper parts of ourselves that are more intuitive and stuff. Because this like fear, I feel like is a big layer and can be a big barrier towards like accessing that. And like I feel like that was intertwined the somatics part with like the second big thing that you shared, which was your career change, which was like a big, huge part of this container too. I feel like I witnessed you kind of moving along the track of like what was expected of you, right? From like family, from society, and aligning with the values of what society deems is important. But there was like a part of you that was kind of nudging you along the way of like, hey, what about me? Like, what about your passions and like the things that like are meaningful to you? And so like I feel like I witnessed you in that transformation of like in the beginning, it's like, okay, like maybe the deeper layers weren't ready yet because of the fear. But, then there was like a layoff and then boom, it's like the universe kind of like presented you with this opportunity. Even though it didn't feel like an opportunity, it felt like, the world was falling apart. But yeah, boom, here comes this opportunity and it's like a part of us, of course we're craving safety. Of course we're craving like comfortability in what we've known. But I remember those sessions where I sort of like guided you through meditations intuitively and there was again, kind of like we were working through the fear rather than like just trying to move past it and like figure things out just logically. But we went back to your intuition and we were just like, okay, Lauren's soul, like, what are you gonna guide us to do to help Lauren go into like alignment and not, and like trusting yourself again,
Yeah.
trusting like what you're really feeling called to do. And maybe putting aside those voices of like, you should do this and you should live your life because these people are telling you to live your life this way.
Yeah, like so I feel like everything was like divinely guided, like by like ancestors, by spirit guides, because I love the people that I was working with, but the job was just not fit for me. I was doing like I was graduated like with my master's in landscape architecture, and then I got a job that is based here in LA that does design justice work, which is cool, but I got pigeonholed to do like research, and I'm more of like a embodied person. Like I want to work with my hands, and I was like, I really want to work on these projects. I thought there would be more hands-on, and they're like, we just don't have that right now. And we are working with two other like kind of there was two other mentors that I had access to, and I was telling them what I wanted, and we were going through like a time where we could like shape the organization however like we to offer our visions for what we wanted in this work. And the visions that I was offering wasn't quite as aligning with where they were right at the moment. And so both of the mentors were they're both are like women entrepreneurs, BIPOC women, and they were like, it seems like it's time for you to fly. Like it seems you need to like you say thank you thank you next. You know, and just like you need to keep doing like go on your path now. Like, you know, and I was like, are they saying this because they went on their own path and they're just putting their thoughts into, but I was like, no, they actually saw that I was ready to just go on my own path. And I was very fortunate that you were already with like we were already in this container so that like you like I had this to catch me because for a long time I think in that time I was in that fog that you like described at one point where it's like it's like entering the it's I feel like I'm at the boom part now. It's like, okay, yay, we did it. We're here. But it was all about like navigating through that fog, which is like I didn't expect. I thought it would be like happiness and rainbows throughout the container. We're like, okay, we're gonna be like superheroes and doing all this like ancestral like mediumship work. That's gonna be amazing. Like, but it's all about that fog of like navigating it because it's like I don't know, because it's like, you know, there's only like it's our world, their world, but it's all kind of together. But we have to learn, as you said, during the moments, I think during the moments where the veil was thinner, you know, I was able to like see more and things like that. And even if it wasn't thin, like trying to connect in ways that like allows I consent to the access or not. And like learning how to navigate that with them.
Yeah, like I think we spent like maybe it was month four, like all of month four after, the big like job change, losing a job, and then again just kind of going back to the basics of like tell like showing your body that you're safe. Again, a lot of that embodiment work and like nervous system regulation. Like I think you just needed that time to really like ground again, and then from there you could start to follow your intuition and start to like build a new life that fits you as a person. Like you said, you're an embodied sort of person. So if it's heavy on like computer work, or like if it's heavy on the on that side, like you've said in the past, like, it starts to feel disconnected from your body. And so um as you started to rebuild or like create like the type of life like you did want, I'm sure it was really unexpected. Like, you're going after what it is that you really want to do. And this time, the only permission you needed was yours, and I think
Yes.
that was a big game changer for you.
Yeah, and I again I feel grateful for like starting the container that when we did because I knew my body wasn't happy. I knew things weren't aligning in my life. I knew that I wanted it to though. Like I wanted all of it to reflect my values and where I wanted to go, and I was ready. And so when we got like, you know, you helped me teach some like somatic practices before that, and then the more I stepped into who I was, the more I was realizing like and more observing when my body would react to things I didn't want to be in or do. And it was like, I don't think this is my career. Or like
Yeah.
this part of this field isn't quite where my career will be. Like I can't intuitively see a future that looks like this. Like I need to change. And like before that fog and everything, like the work that we did helped to lead to that change and helped to catch me and like learn to commit, I think. Commit to like where I'm at right now, which is like now I'm studying carpentry and like I'm so happy I got an interview or I got an internship with a construction company that really is does like community projects and is like very aligned with like my values and is doing things, you know? And I think that's I never thought I would get to construction because there's so many barriers of like women or like queer folks like in or like stigma or like, you know, stereotypes of I don't know, all these things. So like it's just amazing that how much work we've done to lead me into something that I never thought that I would be able to get into.
Yes, that's so powerful. It takes a lot of courage, I feel, to step into this. So I want to commend you for that too. And you said yes. Like you said yes to this new path. And it's just exciting because I feel like you are breaking barriers by just being yourself in this field. Like what that can show other people is possible and like, because like you
Yeah.
said, there's some barriers there.
Yeah, there's like real physical like factors and side effects like finances. Like my apartment that I'm currently in like is amount of the rent that I was okay paying because of the job that I had. But now that I no longer had that job, I was like, what am I going, how am I going to pay rent?
Yeah.
Should I like leave? Should I da-da-da? But I already built a community here in like Northeast LA. Like I already like met friends and I feel comfortable. I really like where I live. And so it's like, okay, but I always knew that, I came back here to live with my friends. And so I asked my friend to be like my housemate, or like I was like, hey, I was even willing to leave this apartment, but she was like, oh no, we can live in here. I was like, oh, okay. So that helped with the rent. And like, even though the government sh was like going through a shutdown, like I was still like, okay, there's this app that's similar to TaskRabbit, where you like kind of go to people's home. It's like Uber or something, or like, there's people who go on this app and like they want their furniture to be assembled. So like people like, Uber drivers, oh, I want to pick up this person, do that one. So it was kind of like that, but assembling furniture. So I was like, okay, my body's craving to be hands-on and it's a way to get income. So it's like still like, like I'm just gonna do it. Like this is the life I want and I'm just keep going and like finding ways to support myself and like being okay with like, okay, maybe I go to the food pantry, but like, I know it's like it's where it's leading me and I know it's scary because, not everybody is willing to take that risk, but I'm really happy I'm getting the like an internship at a really cool company and like I'm excited for like being happy and I know that the path I'm on is gonna also lead me to future financial stability. So we here, we made it to this step.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that because, yeah, it's not all like roses and rainbows and butterflies. Like it's real life. Like again, this is integration, right? So how are we applying these spiritual topics to real life? And rent is a part of real life. You're not sacrificing like your well-being, your happiness for money, in a way. In the other sense, like, yes, we have to figure out like, okay, how am I going to support myself in this new timeline, in this new path that's right for me? But again, the practicality of it. So, yeah, like I've personally experienced it myself too. Like I wasn't always this coach that people see me as and this medium. Like there was a time that like I've also had to have like part-time jobs as I do my like what lights me up and like this work and teaching workshops and stuff. Like yes, I would love that this would be my full time, but I'm not there yet and it's okay. Like no one is rushing me. There's also a lot of growth that I'm gaining just by like learning as I go and like trying this out. But again, there's just such real rewards like hearing people's transformations, literally witnessing them in the coaching container, like becoming this next version of themselves. Like it's so cool. And I wouldn't change it for anything else. But yeah, we have to support ourselves too. There's like we're being led towards, something really exciting. Like I can see a future where this is my full time. Like I can see it. And I'm sure you have your version of like seeing yourself in carpentry full time and you're making like, enough to support yourself and like probably more like thriving, right? But again, it's a journey. It's like, okay, this is where we are right now. It's okay to be here and it's okay to like just enjoy it as you go because one day you're gonna look back at this time and be like, wow, I'm really glad I made that change. Like I could, be 10 years from now, I could have been at the same job. Like for all we know, like that is a possible reality that could have happened is like you could have still been in a very similar field. But then it's like what kind of things do you have to sacrifice in order to have that life? Like, imagine, your body would feel different. And even though this job is physically demanding on your body, I'm sure it will also push you to like work out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have to
Yeah. I
match.
already lost like 6 pounds.
Really? There you go. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, you're listening to what you want, what your body needs, and like I feel like it does help with our health too because we're gonna have to like support that type of lifestyle. Like an entrepreneur, this isn't easy. Like, there's a lot of stress, I think, that comes with entrepreneurship, especially in the beginning couple of years. So for me, like I've had to like really up my game when it comes to like my yoga practices, my breathing practices, grounding myself in nature, going for walks, like all the things that are literally like healthy to do. Like I have to do them. They're non-negotiables because I can't show up as the coach that I want to be if I'm not grounded, if I'm not doing my own spiritual work. Like, it's like, why would you listen to me if I'm not doing those things, you know?
Right? And I think that's like one of the like one of the highlights for this for me is it's just you and like you are like you're doing the work yourself and you've already gone through like what it's like to transition and like you sharing your story and I was also fortunate to that the other two like mentors they were models of people who went through this shift and even before this whole container and before like I even went to like grad school and things, I also saw throughout my life entrepreneurs or people who are achieving what they wanted in life, even though it may be like, maybe it is like with the like capitalist, trophy goal pathway, or even just like really grounded in like spirituality or just any type of like passion and they just want to live it every day. Like those people, I was like, oh, that's cool. So it's like, but as you said, it's that moment of like that journey to commit and then like doing it. And so having a model like you or like, the two other people I had, like it was really helpful to be like, I could do it too, and you could you helped guide me through the practicalities of that too, which was very helpful. And it's like, something that also came to mind is like, I think for anybody who wants to start this container, you don't have to be brave. Like you don't have to be like okay, I am strong and I could do this. I know I could do this. I've done things like this before. Let's do it. It's when I decided to click, I was like I have to do this or else I'm not going to be like it's not necessarily out of desperation, maybe a little bit.
It's okay.
But it's like it's the moment is here now to press and just do it like a roller coaster. Like I'm scared of falling. I'm scared of like fast speed. So, you like go on the roller coaster, sometimes it goes like really fast right away or just like, but I'm in the line, I'm just gonna sit down and then whatever happens, I'm gonna experience it and just try not to throw up.
Yeah.
And like and have a good time.
That's a good analogy. It's like you're in it for the ride. Like you don't really know what's on the other side, but again, it comes back to trusting the process, like trusting one, your intuition that's like for some reason this container is calling me. Like there's something about it that like I resonate with and there's no coincidence about that. Like that means like our frequencies match and there's something that I'm here to like help someone with and like help with their transformation. So because we're choosing this path to grow, like that's why we make big changes. Like we show up differently. We're embodying things differently because we said yes to this like constant growth, constant like development and like I feel like it also gives you accountability because when you're saying yes to like this road that's like less taken or whatever, like it's more unconventional to follow your passion and follow like what really lights you up. There's accountability with that because it's like, okay, if this is what you're saying you really want, you have to show up as that person. Like,
Yeah.
like, and I think that's the cool thing after, you finish the coaching container is like, yes, you don't have a coach anymore, but at the same time, like, you have the tools and you're gonna keep experiencing those challenging moments. So it's like, I feel like that's where the accountability comes in. Like, now life is holding you accountable.
Yes, yes. And like when our container ended, I was like kind of scared. I was like, am I gonna revert back to, well, I know it's only been like a month or so, like post, but like I was like scared. I was like, am I gonna revert back to how I was? But I think the length, how it was since like 6 months, right? It was a good enough time that I could psych myself enough times to be like, am I gonna revert back within that container? But now I'm like, oh, I already like everything's integrated, like it's in my lifestyle now. So it's like how I can't like take like the sugar out of a baked cake, you know? Like so it's gonna be very hard to go back, I think, unless something happens. But I'm really happy that like, because one of my past patterns was, or maybe still, I don't know, to revert back to like, because I'm scared. But I was like, no, I actually don't see that happening to me, at least in the near future. I'm I started with hair and now I don't have hair. And and
Yep.
like really stepping and one of my things was also like gender expression of my gender. And I feel more comfortable in it now, like that is all integrated, like, just like where my lifestyle has led me through this container, like I feel really happy with where I'm at and I I'm observing how I was before, but I don't have the feeling of going back.
That's also one of my biggest intentions as a coach is like I don't want someone to depend on me after the 6 months. Like I want them to fly like a bird, like leave the nest and and like feel confident in themselves, like trust themselves. The self-trust is like a huge part of this. And that's something that we work to build together. And then, it's the biggest testament to see like, okay, like after coaching's over, like how do you feel? And you're doing those things. So that's really good to see. Uh
Yeah.
yeah.
And I would say like with any good teacher, and I'm sure they're like your previous, I'm not gonna say student clients. I was gonna say students, but
I guess
you
both.
know,
Yeah.
like any good teacher, like like whatever thing you're doing, oh, Miss or Mister, or this teacher would tell me to do this. I have to do it because they're gonna not yell at me, but they're gonna keep me accountable. So it's like, every time I pass by my altar, I'm like, Iris would want me to do this. Like,
Yeah.
did I do my 5 minutes today?
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Or this week? Oh, I have to do that because yeah, Iris told me to, and she believes in me, so I have to do that because she knows it's good, and I know it's good, but I have to do it. So I'm like, okay.
It's like that quote of like you're you are a culmination of like the five people you spend the most time with or something like that. So I feel like that's the cool thing about coaching because I feel the same way with past coaches I've had is like sometimes I'll hear their voice in my head of like, oh my gosh, that person would be like, hey girl, put that shit down or like, like you know what you need to do. So it's just funny to hear you say that about me and like your altar is like a big reminder too in your physical space, like taking away what you took from the coaching container and like all the growth that you've experienced, like what's what are your intentions like moving forward? Like what is it that you're focused on? We're entering the year of the horse, 2026, right? So like what's your direction from here?
Yeah, I would say like. Because like a couple of days ago, like I think Thursday, Friday, that's when I was like my body was telling me to prepare. Like and I was observing my body preparing itself and my or not just body, like my soul, my person, my whoever I am.
Yeah.
The universe is telling me that I should be. Because I had hella deja vus, bro. I had like 7 plus like this past 4 days, 3 days. And it was like telling me like I need to shed, you're the snake, it's time for shedding and just like being at peace and with things that like I think a lot of the things we worked in the container I was like letting him be like I decided like, I moved through in a way that I was like, okay, I love certain parts of it and there's parts that I didn't like, but I want to choose to focus on the parts that I did love and I want to bring that with me. And I want to use that to really empower me to like I guess grow my horse mane or whatever.
Yeah.
For power. And just like lead with the love that I've been given, offered, shared, stumbled upon, in a healthy way that it doesn't ask for much from me and I don't ask much from it, but it's a more reciprocal relationship where we power each other to go through and that goes with anybody who aligns with my energy. If people don't align with that, then that's okay. They could enjoy their life however they want to, but really focusing on like me and not people pleasing and just and empowering those who also don't want to people please and we just like see each other and go forth and like I was asking like my guides like, what I was asking them this question too, like, what is my life gonna be like now? Like, now that I'm choosing this, now that I'm going through it. And they were like, they just said, like, smell the flowers.
Oh, I love that you said that as you're wearing literal like flower earrings too.
Right? And it's funny because one of my deja vus, I was at the, like, Long Beach, like, Pearl Lantern Festival.
Mm.
Yesterday, I made my first parole with my dad, which was
Oh.
really cool. I was like, how come y'all didn't teach us this when we were younger? He's like, but he's been there like 30 years later. So I made my own parole and then also was buying these earrings from somebody. And I remember that dream. It was like maybe like 10 plus, 12 plus years ago. 15-ish, I don't know. I was like in middle school when I had this dream. I had a lot of like the dreams that I had that were happening in this moment in middle school. And like I was
Whoa.
like fiddling around with these earrings and I think I already knew that I already cut my head or not cut my shaved my head. And I was like fiddling around with the earrings, like which earring will like match me best. And something that I've been going like working on post coaching is like really accepting who I am and not creating a version that other people want like because of like videos or like women look like this or da 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 they like choose this color for themselves or da 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 and I was like no, I'm gonna really listen to myself and what accept the flavor I am. I think I tried to force to be a certain flavor and I think that was something I was working through before. And but now I'm like, no, I'm just gonna listen to the flavor that I am and like choose things that align with that or show that. And so I was deciding between these earrings. It was like yellow and like circular. It was cool. But then I remember in my dream, I was like, I saw another one and I was like, I went for it. I like these are the ones that I want because it's just I like it. Like even though the other ones are like I like them too, it just doesn't speak to the flavor I am. And so actually, it was these exact ones that I
Whoa, exact? That's wild.
yeah, it was like I remember it was purple, yellow, as because the other one was mainly yellow, but I was like I wanted purple in it, and I was like it's purple, yellow, and it's like flower. Like that's what I remember in my dream, and it's like dangly, and I was like, but I was like when I bought them, I was like oh shit,
That's the one from your
these are the
dream. Wow. You
so
can't
I
make this
guess
stuff up.
right you can. So I was saying, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I guess I'm here. Like, this is the flavor I am. So 2026, I'm just gonna be the flavor I am.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. And that makes me so happy to hear because yeah, like you're like shedding a lot of the people pleasing. I can see it already. Especially like if that's your intention going into the new year, like I feel like next year's gonna be big, like a big shift in like self-identity and who you are. Remind me, are you 29 right now?
Yeah, it's gonna turn 30 July 31st.
Okay, oh yeah, Leo. So like,
Yeah.
this is your Saturn return, so it doesn't surprise me that there's so much like shifting about you and you're like becoming more comfortable with yourself.
Yeah. No, and I couldn't have done it without this container, honestly.
Yeah.
Without you, without like all the other people like supporting me. It's just I'm so grateful and it's like, and I'm so happy that, you're also getting like getting further in like your entrepreneurship too.